Happy Saturday. How's it going, everybody? What have you been doing today on this beautiful Saturday? So, I decided to come outside since it's such beautiful weather. Has been a little warm, but it's just gorgeous day. So I like to come outside and do a video whenever it's nice weather. If you do hear some noise in the background, there is someone riding a dirt bike nearby my house, and you can hear it. You can hear the birds chirping. So as I've been sitting here before I started, I've been hearing a lot of noises that I can't control. So I hope that they don't distract from the story. But anyways, I just want to go ahead and let you know that there will be some background noise, or there might be, okay? All right. So today's story is going to be one that I don't believe that I have read to a group of students before. It's a fairly new book for our library. I believe I ordered it or got it like maybe last year, the year before last, in a big book order, and it is a 3.4. It is worth half a point. Quiz number 185856. Do you want to know the name of it? That might be a little helpful, huh? It's called Ada Twist, Scientist. And it's about this little girl, and that's her brother. But anyway, when she's born, she doesn't talk or say anything till she's like 3 years old. And then when she finally does, like, everything just kind of comes out of her, and all these questions and all these scientist-like questions. So the whole story is about, what happens with that. I do want to tell you this that I thought was kind of interesting. When I was reading the summary about the story, or I read through the story and then I was reading the back page, I did not know this. There's a note from the author. It says, women have been scientists for as long as there have been science. They've asked questions and looked for answers to the secrets of the universe, of soul and stars, stalactites and seahorses, stalactites, glaciers and gravity, brains and black holes, of everything. Ada Marie Twist is named for two of the many scientists, or the women, whose curiosity and passion led them to make great discovery. Marie Curie discovered the elements polonium and radium, and her work led to the invention of X-rays. Ada Lovelace was a mathematician and the very first computer programmer. So the little girl's name is Ada Marie Twist. She is actually the character name in the book. She is actually named after two real scientists who had lived and who have invented things. So Marie Curie discovered and helped to the invention of X-rays, and then Ada Lovelace, she was a mathematician and the very first computer programmer. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little twist on Ada Twist. Okay, a little interesting fact. All right, ready to get started? Oh, and this is a rhyming book, and even though it's a rhyming book, it does tell a story. And a lot of rhyming books are kind of, fun and upbeat, and, they kind of, they're rhyming for a reason, and sometimes it's to like teach, words and things like that. This one does, have that upbeat, but it also has, a plot to it, which is like, a problem and solution and characters and setting and all of that, okay? So, Ada Marie said not a word till the day she turned 3. She bounced in her crib and looked all around, observing the world, but not making a sound. She learned how to climb and make her big break with a trail of chaos left in her wake. She ran through the day chasing each sound and sight, and didn't slow down till she conked out each night. So here's the mess that she's made. Didn't make a sound until she was 3. Ada Marie. And then she finally just gives up. Goes to sleep. Wherever she is. She just ran out of energy. Her parents were frazzled, but tried not to freak, as Ada grew bigger and still did not speak. Clearly, young Ada, with lots in her head, would have something to say when it ought to be said. So she still had not said anything. That's just what happened when Ada turned 3. She tore through the house on a fact-finding spree and climbed up the clock just as high as she could. And her parents yelled, "Stop!" as all good parents would. Ada's chin quivered, but she did not cry. She took a deep breath and she simply asked, "Why?" So she climbs up and they're telling her, "Stop!" And she says, "But why? Why should I stop?" Why does it tick and why does it talk? Why don't we call it a granddaughter clock? Why are there pointy things stuck to a rose? Why are there hairs up inside of your nose? She started with why and then what, how, and when. By bedtime she came back to why once again. She drifted to sleep as her dazed parents smiled at the curious thoughts of their curious child who wanted to know what the world was about. They kissed her and whispered, "You'll figure it out." So look at all those things that she was asking about the clock. Hairs up your nose. Look. Why does the elephant have a long nose? All of these why. All of these questions. Some of those same questions that you probably ask your mom and dad or your teacher. And here they are some more. Why, what, how, when, where? Her parents kept up with their high-flying kid, whose questions and chaos both grew as she did. And here's some of the questions. What is it for? Will it be the same? What if? Why? Will it? When? What will it? What is it? How does it? How can I find out? How soon is now? Even Miss Greer found her hands were quite full when young Ada's chaos wreaked havoc at school. But this much was clear about Miss Ada Twist. She had all the traits of a great scientist. So, at school, this is what she's doing at school. Ada was busy that first day of spring, testing the sounds that make mockingbirds sing, when a horrible stench whacked her right in the nose, a pungent aroma that curled up her toes. "Zowie!" said Ada, which got her to thinking. What is the source of that terrible stinking? How does a nose know there's something to smell? And does it still stink if there's no nose to tell? She rattled off questions and tapped on her chin. She'd start at the start where she ought to begin. A mystery, a riddle, a puzzle, a quest. This was the moment that Ada loved best. So while she's trying to figure out the songs or the sounds that mockingbirds sing, she smells this really bad smell. Ada did research to learn all she could of smelling and smells, both the stinky and good. One hypothesis Ada thought could be true. The terrible stink came from Dad's cabbage stew. She tested and tested, but soon Ada knew it was time to come up with hypothesis 2. So she looked, and she thought it might be her dad's cabbage stew, but she found out that was not correct. So what's a hypothesis? Hypothesis is kind of a tongue twister, isn't it? But it is, I've always heard the words, an educated guess. And what that means is it is a guess, or it is a prediction that scientists make in order to solve something they're trying to or to, whoa, had a bee coming around here. That they're trying to, solve, or, a problem, or, an answer to, what am I trying to say? An experiment that they're trying to conduct. And this is based on the facts that they have, okay? Based on the facts and the data that they have, they make a guess, okay? And that is called a hypothesis. Then zowie, the stink struck again, just like that. Hypothesis 2. It's caused by the cat. So hypothesis, so based on that they smelled and saw the cat, that was their data. So they made a guess that the smell was caused by the cat. So that's hypothesis 2. The cat couldn't make such a stink on its own. It needed perfume and some fancy cologne. So young Ada tested. The test was a flop. She started again, but her parents yelled, "Stop!" Look what she's about to do with the cat. She washed the cat, put perfume on it. She's about to do what? Put it in the dryer. That's not a good idea. Ada Marie, to the thinking chair, now, by the time we count 3. Enough, said her mother. That's it, said her dad. Her parents were frustrated, frazzled, and mad. Why? Ada questioned. Her mother said, no. What? Ada queried. Her father said, go. You've ruined our supper. You've made the cat stink. Enough with your questions. Now sit there and think. She looked at her parents. Her heart turned to goo. Poor Ada Twist didn't know what to do. So her parents, they kind of had it. Well, all this testing and she's about to put the cat in the dryer. So they just said, that's enough. Stop it. Now you got to stop and think about what you're doing. So here's her brother. Here's the kitty cat. Look at him. That kitty cat's kind of scared. Mom and Daddy, they're pretty mad. And look at Ada, though. Her heart turned to goo. That means what? She's kind of sad. She sat all alone by herself in the hall, and Ada once more could say nothing at all. And so Ada sat, and she sat, and she sat. And she thought about science and Stu and the cat, and how her experiments made such a big mess. Does it have to be so? Is that part of success? Are messes a problem? And while she was thinking, what was the source of that terrible stinking? Ada Marie did what scientists do. She asked a small question, and then she asked 2. And each of those led her to 3 questions more. And some of those questions resulted in 4. As Ada got thinking, she really dug in. She scribbled her questions and tapped on her chin. She started at why, and then what, how, and when. And at the end of the hall, she reached why once again. So she's starting to think, and think, and think, and think some more, and think about what she's doing before she does something. Her parents calmed down, and they came back to talk. They looked at the hallway and just had to gawk. No patch of bear paint could be seen on the wall. The thinking chair now was the great thinking hall. They watched their young daughter and sighed as they did. What would they do with this curious kid who wanted to know what the world was about? They smiled and whispered, we'll figure it out. Look what Ada had done. She'd written all of these formulas and pictures and numbers and question marks on the hall wall. So her parents said to think, right? So she's been thinking. But part of her thinking was what? Making notes and drawing pictures and all kinds of things. And that's what they did, because that's what you do when your kid has a passion and heart that is true. They remade their world. Now they're all in the act of helping young Ada sort fiction from fact. She asks lots of questions. How could she resist? It's all in the heart of a young scientist. So they redesigned, I guess, a room so she could draw those things and have those things to think and explore. And they themselves started reading like science books. And as for that smell, what can Ada Twist do but learn all she can with her friends in grade 2? Will they discover the stink that curls toes? Well, that is the question, and someday, who knows? So there she is with her 2nd grade class. And they're still trying to discover where that stinking smell came from. You think they will? Probably so, at some point. And that is the end of Ada Twist Scientist 3.4, half a point, quiz number 185856. And I hope you enjoyed our Saturday presentation. Hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Talk to you on Monday.